Hello learners, welcome to this SWAYAM course on preparation of research proposal in social sciences. As we have discussed in lecture 1 and lecture 2 that what is research proposal and how we can make research proposal. So today we are moving forward in a lecture number 3 with key aspect of proposal preparation. Key learning things you can see in this lecture we will discuss about understand and define your research problem, justify the need of the identified research problem, understand the various components of the proposal, comprehensive and detailed review of literature of research, and understanding the format and design of the proposal. So, let us begin. Firstly, we have to discuss in a detail that a researcher has to understand and define the research problem what the researcher is proposing. You can see here, before starting the research proposal preparation, it is necessary to understand your research problem comprehensively so that you can do justice to all other components of the proposal. My dear learners, it is very important to understand the problem which you have proposed for a research in a broader perspective, because the way you understand your problem, it helps you in making and providing justification to all its component in the research proposal. So, it is a must thing that as a researcher whatever you are proposing, you must have a thorough knowledge and understanding of that topic. Next is clarity about the research problem makes the researcher confident in proposing the budget, tools and tentative ideas about the data collection and other significant research issue. This is another very important. See, the way you form your budget, what kind of tool you will be needing for completing your research, and what are your tentative ideas about the data collection and other significant research issues. You have to make a clear cut idea before you proceed for the formalization of your research idea in a form of research proposal. So, be very clear about these things. Next is identify the strength of your proposal, pinpoint competitive advantages. As now we are moving in a world of a competition, therefore your research have to beat other proposals which are inclined in your areas. Therefore, you have to identify the strength and what your proposal can contribute with the help of research which you are proposing. Therefore, be very specific, very precise and pinpointed to make your proposal successful proposal. Next is address a specific problem which can be used for further. This is also a very interesting and an important aspect, that there are many things that a researcher thinks, but in a future there may be some certain problems, issues which a researcher can face related to budget, related to data collection, related to data analysis. Therefore, be specific that yes, these are the problem that I am going to face and have a tentative solution of that. Next is quantifiable benefit of the research to be taken. This is also a very important thing for institution or the person who is scrutinizing your synopsis or research proposal. See, what are the quantifiable benefits that you are producing with the help of your research is very significant, because it lays a strong foundation that yes, why a proposal should be accepted and the research which you are proposing should be taken further. Next is understanding the process to be adopted as methodology. This is another very important aspect of making a research proposal, because as a researcher you have idea, but as a researcher, do you have some certain methodology? Do you have some certain plan to counter the challenges of data collection? The plan with the help of which you can counter the things that you are going and planning in your research proposal. So, be very clear and have a deeper understanding about methodology. Next is justifying the need of the identified research problem. My dear learners, it becomes very important to understand your research, and not only understand, you have to justify that why this research is to be done. This is very important. See, research is emerging. So many researchers are coming with different kinds of ideas, but why your research should be considered. You have to justify this, and not only your research, your methodology, your tool, your sample, all these things, why you have done so and so thing. You should have a very strong rationale behind this and justify the research problem that you have selected. So you can see here on the screen, after identifying the research problem, the most critical step is to justify your research problem. Many researchers face this problem, that if question is coming that why you want to do this research, you have to answer it, and not only answer with the feeling and emotions. Always remember, you are not going to answer only with feeling and emotion. You have to answer and counter it with some certain evidences. That evidences may come from review of literature, may come from any other previous researches. Whatever you have thought, you have to justify it. Here you can see justification means why to take some particular research problem. That answer you have to prepare. Why you want to do some certain research. What are the expected significant outcomes of the research? How the research can contribute to the existing knowledge reservoir. This is another very significant and important. You can see there are so many researches with certain findings and outcomes. What new you will contribute to the existing knowledge system which is already existing? This question is very crucial. So try to justify this thing before going into the process of making research proposal. How outputs of the research can enrich society in a broader perspective. Another question which is very crucial with respect to your research proposal, that yes, these are the broader perspectives and outcomes of my research which is going to contribute heavily toward the society. Now, how to justify? This is another important thing. First of all, you have to frame a consolidated rationale. All these things we will discuss in the upcoming lectures, but as introduction I am discussing this thing to you all, that frame a consolidated rationale of your study with the help of review of literature and several research arguments, that yes, these are the regions, these are the issues which has led me to do this particular research, and tentative outcomes can be friendly for a society and system in so and so manner. Conduct an intense review of literature on the selected research problem. This is very important. See, whatever you are thinking, whatever you are preparing, it needs some kind of technical research based support, and that support will come only from review of literature. The more deeper you do the review of literature, the more quality you can enhance in your proposal and establishing the rationale of your research. Next is understand the various component of the proposal. See, we have discussed many things till now, but you know what is research proposal, you know how to make it, but there are few things which contains within the research proposal are very logical and very systematized, and that is component of the proposal. You can see clearly here, a research proposal has various components with the help of which a researcher drafts all the ideas and plan concretely and systematically. So it becomes significant to understand all components comprehensively. This is very interesting to understand as a learner, that if you are trying to articulate and make various components very systematically, you have to understand that what is this component and what it requires to be done. For example, you need to make a rationale of the study. So you have to understand what is actually rationale of the study, how it has been made, and what are the benefits of having a good rationale. Next is, it is also necessary to understand the intent of each component of the proposal. As I have just said, that you have to understand that some certain component of my proposal, what is their intent, what they will propose, and what I have to write within that component to make my research proposal more strong, more sound, and more comprehensive. Next is, understanding various components of the proposal provides support to frame and present your research idea effectively. This is you can say a crux of the thing, that the way you understand the component of the proposal, the way you form your proposal. So, it is very important to understand this thing to make and communicate your research idea effectively. Now, let us discuss major components of the research proposal. You can see, as I have discussed, that a research proposal has various components, and as a researcher you need to make a proper articulation of all these things so that you can communicate your various ideas and components of ideas effectively. You can see introduction, rationale and research question, objectives, hypothesis, methodology, tools, references, all these things. We will discuss this in upcoming lectures, but we have to understand this basic preliminary idea of the component of the research proposal, because my dear learners, if you do not plan this all components systematically and properly, it will make your proposal vague. It will make your proposal vague. Therefore, as a researcher, you have to understand this thing also, that you have idea, surely you have some idea, but how to form it under these subheadings, under these some components. Like introduction, you will prepare of your research, that yes, this is my research, what I am going to do. Rationale, as I have already discussed, research question, objective, hypothesis, methodology, tool and references. Combining all this, these are the major components. There are some other components also, but these are the major components. On the basis of that and around these components, your all research idea revolves. Next is comprehensive and detailed review of literature of research area. See, research is a very broader term with having a very versatile and comprehensive intent. But among this all broad spectrum of research, as a researcher you have to identify your area, that this is the area which I am going to do, and I would go deeper into the literatures related to that particular area to understand my research well, to understand my variables well, to understand the knowledge gap well. You can see here comprehensive review. Reviewing is the key to understand the research problem holistically and its various aspects. If you want to understand the research problem holistically, that yes, what has been done and what is required to be done with some changes, context and scenarios, you have to do a very comprehensive review at least of your research area which you are going to pursue. Next is, it helps in identifying the gaps. Here it is very significant to understand that what is research gap. In research, it is essential to understand what has been done and how it has been done, because this is a fundamental building block of your research which lays a strong foundation that yes, these things have been done, in what ways it has been done, and it lays the further foundation for a researcher to grow forward and prepare research accordingly. Last is foundation of rationale. The review of literature plays a fundamental role in building the foundation of the rationale of research study, because as I am discussing is continuously that what is to be done you will know only by review of literature. What has to be done, in what ways it has to be done, you will know by doing review of literature. A thorough literature review strengthens the conceptual framework of the study, providing a solid foundation for research development. Next is understanding the format design of the proposal. This is also very interesting. See, different institutes and different colleges, sometimes they have their own way of making the proposal, change in little bit order of the components. But as a researcher, you have to understand that what format, what design of the proposal you have to follow. So, format of the proposal, understanding the format of a proposal is necessary because it ensures clarity, completeness and credibility, as well as ensures a systematic presentation of getting your research approved. Next is structure of proposal. This is very important. How you structure, which component will come first, which component will go second, it affects the effectiveness of your research proposal. So, be very precise toward this thing. As you can see, a research proposal has a definite structure and component with strict order arrangement. I am repeating it, strict order arrangement. There are few things which you have to define first, then second, then third, like that. Sometimes university, college, research institution provide their format of research proposal with some minor changes depending upon their requirements. See, when you are applying for some institution, the institutions sometimes have their own criteria. They have their own formats to ask proposal, and even though you will have a format, but prepare your proposal according to the requirement. Final is making draft, making all necessary arrangement and make your plan according to the required format, and keep in mind sequence. First thing, keep in mind. Second is need, what is the need you justify, and third is justification of overall arguments that you are giving in the form of objective, research question, research idea, methodology, tool, whatever you are proposing. Concluding discussion. See, as I have discussed that if you want to make a good effective research proposal, you have to focus on some certain specific things, like clearly understand and define the research problem. I am just making a recap of this, that if you want to attract the fund, if you want to get selected, your synopsis should be, your proposal should be selected, you have to be very clear about your research proposal and the research idea. Because the moment you don't know and not having clarity about your research idea, it will make you vague and confused towards the process of making tool, toward the process of selecting sample, toward the process of adopting some certain methodology. Because when you understand the problem well, you knows that how solutions can be made. As we all know that research is a process of solving a problem. You need to know that yes, this is my problem and how I can tentatively solve it further. Next is justification is key to the good research. Wherever you will go with a research proposal, the first thing I believe it is asked to all the researchers that why you want to do this, what is the rationale behind this. So please conduct a comprehensive review of literature so that you can have a proper foundation, database, knowledge and arguments toward them certain things, that these are the things already done and I am moving forward with this research idea which seems to be having some certain outcomes which is favorable for society and academic fraternity. So please have a good justification related to your research idea. Next is comprehensive review before proceeding further. This is another very important aspect. Review of literature. Review of literature is not only you do for searching some ideas, some thoughts, some arguments, it gives you a very clear cut picture that this particular research, for example, if I say that effectiveness of a ICT based module over class 6 students achievement in science. This is a research which we want to do. Review of literature provides you a very strong support that whether the similar kind of research has been done or not. If done, then with what kind of methodology, in what context it has been done, and what kind of a tool and intervention support has been prepared. This all things, if you do not have the clarity about all these things, you will find difficult to articulate and form your research proposal. Therefore, the moment you start making your research proposal, comprehensively review before proceeding further, that yes, this is my research topic and these are the things which have already been done and now I have to move accordingly in terms of all components of the research proposal. Understand the component of proposal. As I have discussed, as a researcher, it is not only that you have some ideas and you will make a research proposal. It seems vague Vague in terms of you should have clarity about that what actually introduction is, what actually introduction is, what actually rationale is, because there is a difference between introduction and rationale of the study. What is research question? What is objective? How my research questions will guide my research objective? These are interlinked together. So, moment you want to make a research proposal, you have a research idea, please make a clarity about these things, that yes, these are the component and this I will counter accordingly. And most importantly, you should understand the sequencing also, that in a research you cannot write a straightforward research objective of your research. There is some certain order, there is some certain systematic order, that on the basis of that you will write your objective research question accordingly. So, it is better to have a deeper understanding of components of the proposal. And last is planning systematically and logically. Here it comes one thing which is very significant for the researchers. See, the way you plan doing a thing is very subjective. Different people can have different ways of doing same thing, but as a researcher you have to be very concise, very objective, very rational, that I will do this work in this amount of money and in this time. Why I am emphasizing over this thing? Because the money you propose and the time you propose will be definitely compared with the other research proposal, which may be inclined towards your research area, which may be inclined towards your research topic. So, research studies would have different kinds of project, different kinds of time budget, and among all this it will be screened that which is best, which is cheap. Therefore, as a researcher, it is a request to all of you that whatever you prepare, think very rationally, that I have to do this thing, and your proposal should not go over budget in terms of money and time. So, plan systematically, and secondly, very logically. Logically means what you say in your research, what you mention in your research proposal. It is not only going to be emotional, it is not only going to be on the basis of your feeling and thoughts, because what you feel, what you thought is a secondary thing, but what you observed, what you found with review of literature, with some certain research is most important. And as a researcher, you have to be very to the point in terms of this thing, otherwise a good research idea can become vague. A good research idea can become vague. So, clearly understand and define research problem. Justification is the key to your good research. Comprehensively review before proceeding further, and understand the component of proposal, and plan systematically and logically. So, this is all. Thank you so much.